He's watching.
Okay.
What excited? Jeremy, how are you? Good, thank you very much. Say good evening to everyone. It's now 6 o'clock. At this time, I'll call the Madison County Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing to order and welcome everyone in attendance tonight. My name is Canola Scott. I am the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. At this point, will you please stand with me for a word of prayer and we'll get started. So, Father God, we thank Thee for life and your strength. We thank Thee for allowing us safe travel here. Father, we ask that you bless each and every one of the sound of my voice. Father, we ask that you bless this nation, bless this county, and Father, we ask you to be in wherever business we try to do tonight. And our Father will be so careful to give you all the honor, glory, and praise. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, I will ask the members of the Planning and Zoning to introduce themselves and to tell you what area they represent, starting on my left.
My name is Stephanie Harvin. I represent District 3.
Good evening, Bruce Gandy, District 5.
Cynthia Fortson, I'm elected by the committee.
Kenneth Bradley, Vice Chair and also District 1. Lee Mitchell, District 2.
Tracy Patrick, Zoning Administrator.
Of course, I will have our attorney with us this evening. All right. As the first order of business this evening, I am required to read a few statements regarding the zoning process. Should you have any questions after I finish, please raise your hand, and I will try to answer them. Zoning directly affects private property rights. These include the rights of property owners to enjoy and use of their property, and the right of adjacent property owners and the general public not to be unreasonably harmed by specific land use. Tonight is the first of two public hearings that will be held. A second public hearing will be held at the Madison County Board of Commissioners at this location on
December 2nd.
On December 2nd. As the first order of business tonight, first we will introduce the applicants, and then the zoning administrator will give her comments. Then the applicant or their authorized agent will come forward, state their name and address, sign in, then state the reason for their request. You may provide any other information or documentation supporting the application. Next, the planning and zoning members will have the opportunity to ask the applicant questions to clarify their understanding of the issue relating to the application. Afterwards, I will open the floor for comments in support of or in opposition to the request. Okay, the Madison County Planning and Zoning Commission is a recommending body only, consisting of concerned citizens who are appointed to 4-year terms by the county commissioners. We are a fact-finding body that visits the properties under consideration, reviews the information associated with the application, consider public comments raised during the public hearing, and within the guidelines of the comprehensive plan. and other land use ordinances. Make recommendations to the Board of Commissioners regarding these applications. The final binding decision on each request will be made by the Board of Commissioners. Does any of the members of the Planning and Zoning need to recuse themselves for anything before us tonight? Hearing none, we will move on into our public hearing. Ms. Tracy, number 1, please.
We have Byron Banks, and he is requesting to rezone 12.45 acres from A2 to business to operate a mobile home dealership. The property is located at 5518 Highway 29 South in Colbert on map 44, parcel 190 in District 3.
Ms. Bates,
Yes, sir.
come forward and tell us what you want us to know.
Julie and I own Comfort Homes of Athens at 944 US Highway 29, right there at the Clark County, Madison County line. But we've been trying for several years to buy that property, and we've been unsuccessful. It just missed, what's her name, Julie?
Ingram.
Miss Ingram just, her son-in-law took over, and anyway, with the growth coming out that way, you know, we would like to move on further into the county, which is, I think, 3.5 miles, something like that, to that property, which is what I purchased from Royce Bray back in a couple months ago. And that's what we would like to do, is move Comfort Homes from that location in the coming months. I mean, it may be in a couple of years to that location in Madison County.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Bates?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
You're the one that's across from Ingles or one further down?
No, ma'am, we're right there on the, if you're leaving going towards Athens, we're the last one on the right there beside, there's, I don't know what you call it, there's just a couple stores, but we're on the right as you're heading out towards Athens.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I
ma'am.
know what you're talking about.
And the lot's kind of split between Clark County and Madison County, but we're in the Madison County side of it.
Oh,
We're not in the Clark County side of it.
oh, okay. I guess looking at, a diagram you gave us,
Yes,
so you're not gonna set up your homes the way they're set up down there?
These are just temporary set, there's nothing permanent. You'll have one, we're looking to set one permanent office.
Uh-huh.
That's where we do the, you know, the sales and stuff like that. The rest of them are temporary. Most of them are there for about 8 months. As we sell the inventory, then we replace them with new ones.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, we're, like here, the way you have it set up. is
Yeah,
not-
that's a typical lot. I mean, we didn't do a site specific, but yes, ma'am, that would be what a typical lot would look like.
Okay, so they're not gonna be side by side and, a lot of them put in?
No, ma'am, even on our lot, we've only got 4 across the front, 2 on the sides, and about 6 in the back. I mean, that's on almost 8 acres. But they're, like I said, they're sales center. There's nobody living in them. These are.
Oh, no, I know the way.
Oh, okay, okay, I just wanna make
I'm
sure.
saying the way the business would be set up, because you
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
back there, even though you have businesses, there's a serenity. It doesn't look like a.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
No, most of the stuff what we're looking to be would be across the front. Office would probably be in some off the road, yes, ma'am, so people can come in and park. But we want to put a couple lot models, you know, not necessarily right up on the highway, but close to the highway, and then we would have some around the sales center as well.
Okay. Would you have it set up like, you know, somebody's gonna be living there, you know, would you have the shrubbery?
We put permanent, well, if you look at the one on 29, yes, ma'am, we do nice brick, temporary brick, we don't do no laid-in brick. We make all of the blocks look really nice, and we put steps on every one of them, and I think Julie even does some shrubbery, and she decorates every one of them as the people come in to look at them. So we want it to be a real tight feel for the people to see, you know, if they were, you know, potentially wanting to buy one for permanent.
Right. No, I'm talking about as you go past, you know, it won't seem like it's a sore thumb or it's a.
I don't think there are a lot of sore thumb right now.
No, I don't say that. I mean, you know, like the
Yes, ma'am, I
entranceway would have.
Well, we don't, yes, ma'am, we'd have to make the entranceway a little nicer than what it is. It's got a fence that goes down, we would probably leave the fence as well, because I think the fence is pretty nice, but it's got some pecan trees and everything in that area, but we're not trying to get rid of all pecan trees and stuff like that as well, no ma'am. But no, they would be dressed up and nice, from the road, we want it to be a visual, because that's what we want the people to see, to come in and, and potentially buy.
Any other questions?
Mr. Bates?
Yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to look at the proposed conditions to this?
I have not received the conditions, no, sir. I'm out of town working. I just drove in tonight for this meeting.
Okay.
No, ma'am. No, sir, I'm sorry, I have not.
All right, thank you.
What kind of plans do you have on the property itself to get going? Will it be cleared? Because I think part of it is
It's cleared in the back already.
Wooded area.
I mean, we really, to be honest with you, sir, because the homes are there temporary, we're not doing any building foundation. Like I said, just the one office place would be the only place we would need to put something permanent. And where we are now, we actually have a commercial modular building that is set with a permanent foundation, and that's what we did at Comfort Homes now. We've talked, me and Julie have talked a couple different things, whether we go back with a similar type thing or potentially build something, but no, we haven't gone to that stretch as of yet, no, sir.
I was asking primarily, I know on the back side and to the side, you've got A1 properties.
Yes, sir.
Back there, and I just wondered if you were gonna have some kind of buffer or a wooded area between your operation.
Well, the way it's laid out now, there's no woods really on, if you go into the property, there's no woods on the left side at all next to the house. There's just a little fence.
Right.
Now, there's some trees on their property, but there's no trees on our side of that fence. Now, as you come down to the right side of the property, there are trees that go down through there towards little ponds, stuff like that. And see, in reality, we really don't even have to get into that property.
You're not planning to clear the property line or anything?
No, sir, because it goes downhill anyway. I don't want to put the homes in that area. No, sir.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to, you all haven't talked about these conditions that are required?
I spoke with Dawn earlier today, and we did not get into details with it, but I do have a copy of those for you.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. I would like to suggest,
I had sent them.
before we do the actual public hearing, if you could give him a copy of that and let him take let him look over it, and then we'll bring it back and hold the public hearing for this particular one, because I hate for him to not know what conditions that we're going to propose here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I might add to what the chairman just said, is that pretty much these proposed conditions are all stipulated in present ordinances. It's just a matter of convenience that they're all put here. I'm going to take a look at it.
Yeah, but just take a look at them, and if you would, I'll bring this one back.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Okay? All right, number 2, Mr.
One second to make a note.
Okay.
Okay, so number 2 was Taylor King. That application was withdrawn. So we have, the next up is, Jeffrey Deloach, applicant and attorney for Mary German, is requesting to rezone her 16.9 acres from A2 to AR to allow 3 5.63 acre splits for home sites for her and her 2 children. The property is located at 0 Drake Woods Road in Danielsville on map 22, parcel 1101 in District 2.
All right, Mr. Deloach?
Yes,
All
Mr.
right.
Chair.
All right.
Good to be with y'all tonight. Jeffrey Deloach. My address is 1220 Langford Drive, Building 200. That's in Watkinsville, Georgia. That's my office address. I live in Oconee County. I am here on behalf of Ms. German, who owns this lot. They purchased this lot in 2022, and they've actually been before you previously with an application that ended up being denied a little over a year ago due to what we understood to be a technical problem. I was not involved at that time, but Ms. German is back asking for what we believe to be a very straightforward request to rezone this property from A2 to AR. The purpose of this rezoning is very simple. she's in the back of the room with her husband Barry. But Miss German has 2 children. They would like to divide this lot equally into 3 lots, and her son is actually ready to get going now to build on it. So they would. The Germans live in Winder now. They're looking forward to being residents here in Madison County, and that is the sole purpose of this rezoning, is for 3 residential lots. Obviously, I was able to work with Ms. Patrick to get this rezoning request filed, and she was very helpful. I think the analysis that she provided shows that there is no increase to the public facilities, no burden on the schools or the streets, no negative impact to the surrounding lots or area. It certainly will not negatively impact property values or otherwise diminish folks that live in that area. I also think it's particularly relevant that directly across the street, this is on Drake Woods Road, directly across the street going, if you went straight across from this property, and then from there going to your west, there are 7 lots that are between 5 and 6 acres. So what they're asking for is exactly what is across the street from them. Many of those lots are exactly 5 acres, and none is quite 6 acres. So again, it is very much in harmony with what is across the street. And then if you go just to the east on Drake Woods Road, not the immediate 2 lots, they're a little bigger, but then just to the east, you get lots as small as 2 acres. So there are 5, 6, 7, all the way down to 2 acre lots going to the east. So again, obviously we understand from a zoning perspective, what is around you matters, and what they're asking for is very much in harmony with what is around them. So we know this is in Mr. Mitchell and I think Chairman Scott's district, District 2. We respectfully request that you recommend this rezoning. It's in our view very straightforward. I do anticipate that there's a neighbor that may not. He previously spoke against it. I now understand, and what we would say is this is exactly what this land is to be used for. I mean, it makes sense for there to be 3 residential lots here. As a 16-acre lot, it hasn't been developed, and we believe it's important that it's not likely that it is going to be developed as 1 lot at 16 acres with its current zoning. So I'm certainly happy to answer any questions. If there's a question I can't answer, I'll call on Ms. German to help me. But other than that, we appreciate your consideration of this to allow the German family to move here to your county.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Loach. Any questions from the board members? Any questions from the board members? Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you all.
All right. We will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none. Is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Anyone want to speak in opposition?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start first, then.
All right, so tell us your name, sign in, and let us know what's your opposition.
My name is Victor Boucher, and my address is 4506 Hudson River Church Road, Danielsville, 30633. I remember November 6th last year in this same room when this application was brought forward at the county commissioners. This application is a copy of last year's, exactly the same. Nothing has changed, except this year the applicant is Miss Mary German on his own, and last year it was jointly filed. The situation has not changed. They have no indication that they filed for a building permit or whatever, and The only thing what I would like to ask the planning and zoning is to be very careful and considerate what they decided last year on November 6th at the Board of Commissioners when this application was denied, to keep that in consideration. Thank you.
All right, sir. Anyone else? Want to speak in opposition? Please come forward, state your name and...
My name is Joshua Crawford. Our address is 825 Drake Woods Road, Danielsville, Georgia. We are the neighboring property, which would be tract 2, right next to those 3 tracts there. Our main concern is that we are expanding our family. That's the reason we chose that property in 2021 when we looked at all 3 tracts. At the time, none of them had been purchased yet. We kind of had our pick. We took the middle one. Our purpose for moving there was that it would be quiet and tranquil. We wouldn't really have any, a lot of neighbors that we could see. We wanted a nice, quiet, private life. We moved from Hull, right behind the Glazers, so it was a very nice change for us to move further into the county. We were excited to see where our family and our farm could go. And now, knowing if there were intention on splitting one tract and getting 2 extra neighbors than we had originally considered, we probably would not have even bought there. We bought that with those intentions. There's also a natural creek that runs along the property. We fear that this creek could become contaminated with the extra wastewater that would be added into that area, with 2 extra homes of, we don't know how many residents in each of the 3 families in that area. We also had plans of putting our garden on that side of the property that would adjoin those 3. So we're also worried with, how that may negatively affect any crop growth or animal savings or anything that we have over in that area.
All right, sir. Thank you. Anyone else?
Could I ask a quick question, please?
Sure.
So would you mind on that map right up there pointing out exactly where your property is adjacent to it?
It is the yellow outlined property to the left of the first piece that they have there.
Great. And what size is the lot? I'm sorry.
It would, yes, sir. It's 17.1, I believe. The creek runs along the back, so it would run along behind all 3 of those properties and then into our property.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, my name is Dale Barong, 633 Drake Woods Road. And I was involved in splitting up. Originally, that was 160-something acres. And I purchased the 110 acres. I joined that property on 2 sides. Yes, that you see it to the right and behind it with the creek. We divided that property, and I bought the 110 acres and left the part on Drake Woods Road that consisted of about 3 17-acre pieces of property. Was also involved in the county search. Victor, what was that called? The county comprehensive plan. And that whole area we looked at, and what was decided was that for future wanted 15 acre and above to keep it 882, and didn't want to continue dividing the property into smaller and smaller pieces out in that area. So that's one of the reasons that we divided it into 17-acre lots. So Mr. Deloach is incorrect that it's not suitable for 17-acre properties, because all 3 of those lots were sold as 17-acre parcels. And if the Germans are unable to sell that, I don't need the 17 acres, but I'm willing to purchase that 17 acres and to keep it whole, rather than divide it up into 3 more lots. We can't do anything about the small lots that were sold prior to zoning being enacted with the county, but we can prevent it from happening in the future. But those smaller lots are a real problem in the area, the county, in terms of school and facilities. So anyway, I would ask you to keep it as a 17-acre parcel and don't continue to divide that up. When the Germans were looking at purchasing that property, I introduced myself wanting to be a good neighbor. And they were looking at the property, and they said they wanted their forever home there on that property. And I gave them my contact information, and they said they were going to build a home on the property. They closed, and within a couple of weeks, to my surprise, a for sale sign, a realtor sign, showed up on the property. This was 2 years ago. And I called Mr. German to find out what had changed about the property. You said you were gonna build on that property and move there. And they said, well, my wife has decided she wanted to move to Hartwell. So I called the realtor with the sign, and he says, well, they want to turn that over and they want to sell that property, but what they're asking for it, if you recall, there was a moratorium on zoning, change of zoning at that time, and they said we have to wait until the moratorium is over, and that was last November. That's what the zoning request to change it to AR last November was for. The realtor specifically said, we're going to bust it up into 3 lots so we can get our price for it. And that's what last November was for. It was turned down, so now we're here a year later. And I have no reason to believe that it's not the same thing. They want to break it up to sell it. Now that's what they told me 2 years ago, and I believe that's the same thing. It's to sell this, break it up into 3 portions. There's been no building permits requested to build on this lot. That lot, they've had plenty of time if they wanted to move onto that lot to go ahead and build their family home. And then I would have supported them dividing off the lots for their children, teenage daughter and very young son. But that didn't happen. They didn't get any building permits to start their family home. Now here it is again, wanting to divide it into 3 equal lots. That happened over the last 2 years. That's been my experience with the Germans.
Thank you, sir.
Quick, can I ask a question?
Yeah, okay.
The 110 acres or so that you're referring to that you have there or that you bought there, is that the property where your home sits?
Well, I owned 116 acres and I added that to it. So yes, I didn't want chicken houses, was why I bought that 110 acres.
Right.
So I own 3 parcels there with the 110 acres being a portion of it. Yes.
So the parcel where your home sits adjacent to
That 110 acres.
The 110 there,
Yes.
that sits on a relatively small parcel itself, right? 7-point-something acres where your home sits?
Correct.
Was that cut out of a larger parcel that you had originally bought?
Yes, yes. It's 3 parcels. My home is on a 7-acre parcel. Then there's I think 112, if you see the plat on there, it's 112 plus 7, and then the 110. And it's behind those three, well, here he's showing it as 3, but behind that's 17 acre or 16 acre and change. But my house is up the hill from there.
Yes.
You know, if it's here, my house is up in here.
All right, any other questions for him?
Yes, sir, one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Now, you mentioned that the Germans, they had children that might be interested in doing this. Is that something that would be palatable to you, to living in these sites?
It's designed, it was sold and designed as a single-family home site. I don't object to a single family moving onto that 17 acres. It wasn't set to be three home sites. It would be different if the Germans lived in a single-family house, and then this was wanting to zone it to split off too, but they've never lived on that site.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thanks, sir. Anyone else?
My name is Mitch Clark, 101 Drake Woods Road. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Dale covered it pretty well. I don't have anything against the Germans, but I'm for a single family, leave it 17 acres. We moved out there, we don't want more neighbors, you know what I mean? We want the space. We like it rural, and we would like to keep it that way. So I would say if we can keep it a 17 acre tract, that's my say so.
Do you have property adjacent to this? Where's your
I
property?
live on the end of Drake Woods Road, close to the Hudson River.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Deloach, have
Yes,
you
Mr.
heard
Chair.
anything that you would like to respond to before I close the public hearing and bring it back to the board?
I'll try to be very brief, Mr.
Sure.
Chair. And look, I'm not, the nature of this forum, I understand, I'm not here to get in a debate with those that are in opposition. I want to state a few things that I think are important.
Okay.
One of those is that my client did in fact pull a health department permit in May for a septic, but he and his wife are not yet in a financial position to build the house they want to build. However, their 22-year-old son does want to build his first home there, and that is their goal, to have 3 lots that are going to be 5.63 acres for them and their family. So what you've heard about conversations that may or may not have ever been had with real estate agents, frankly, is not something that's appropriate for you to consider. That's not facts and evidence, what's in front of you. What is a fact is, for example, Mr. Barong's lot, I believe his home is on a 7-acre tract, which is very similar in size to what we're asking for here. So again, I think that's just further evidence, or approximately 7 acres, as he stated. That's what I heard him state, and that's what I understand. Again, we suggest to you that it is very much in keeping with the nature of what is there. We are not talking about 2-acre tracts or 1-acre tracts or half-acre tracts or a subdivision. These are still tracts of land over 5 acres, which are large tracts for residential, which is what we suggest to you is appropriate in this area of the county as we've seen. So again, not trying to debate or get into a disagreement with anyone, but we very much believe that this is both appropriate and reasonable to allow my client to use her land in a very reasonable manner. So we appreciate your consideration of this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And again, I'll answer any other questions if you have them.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
At this
Chair.
point, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for either discussion And then I will entertain a motion. Is there any further, any discussion?
I would like to say there, obviously there are large acreage parcels around there. There are small acreage parcels around there. But with that said, it does all fall within the comp plan's conservation rural area. The AR zone is appropriate. That's why we created it and called it AR. And we are approving those because it has a minimum 4-acre requirement for that reason, that they are palatable in rural areas. I'll leave it there. I'll make a motion.
Okay, before you do, we'll allow anyone else to, speak if they would like to.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that, it's in the agricultural area that, that we looked at. However, in this particular instance, I see a lot of comparable parcels in the immediate vicinity. So I just don't see it as being that much of an abnormality.
And I think the last problem was because of timing. That was the only reason for denial, so.
And I've heard that they don't want the families moving in, but you can see right across the road, there's several small tracts of land there, that 5-acre tracts or less. So that shouldn't be no issue where they put 2 more families in there other than 1. So.
All right, any further discussion? If not, I will open the floor for a motion to approve with conditions, or to deny. Floor is now open.
I'll make a motion to approve this rezone.
I'll second it.
We have a motion on the floor to approve and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll start with Stephanie.
Yes.
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 All right, Mr. Deloach, this has been approved by this board to make a recommendation to the county commissioners for approval. We do suggest that you and your client and everybody that has spoken opposition, please show up on December 2nd, because they have the final say. But at this point, we will recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, Mr. Bates, we want to come back and, is there anything else you want to say to us before we go into the public hearing?
No, I looked at the conditions, I mean, I don't see anything that stands out, that's out of order. I mean, not really. I mean, pretty much anything we've ever done outside of Comfort Homes and our other business, we do it right. I mean, we don't, so I mean, I see some different things here about curb appeal and different stuff like that. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever.
All right, so thank you. I just want to give you the opportunity to see that before we move into the public hearing.
No, sir, I appreciate it.
All right, and this one, is there anyone here that wants to speak for this particular rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for any discussion and a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
We got to approve with these conditions that was handed out to him. Is that right, Mike?
Yes, if you want to make the conditions applicable, then you have to approve, yes, a motion to approve with those conditions.
Even if
Stephanie,
it's part of the ordinance.
you want to reword that?
That's sort of the discussion we had last time, but,
Just to make sure.
that's
All
up
right.
to you.
I will add the conditions to my motion.
Okay, and a second.
Yes,
Okay. Further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All right, we'll start with Bruce.
Yes.
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 All right, Mr. Bates, this has been approved, and again, as I told that gentleman, we're recommending board on December 2nd, it will go full board commissioners.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to number 4, I guess it is.
Okay. And we have Suzanne Cook, applicant for her father, Tim Brown, is requesting a dual rezone for his 28.28 acres from A1 to AR and A2. She's requesting to rezone a 4.15 acre portion from A1 to AR to split to gift his daughter, and is requesting to rezone the remaining 24.13 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. Property is located at 1232 Shirley Road in Royston on map 87, parcel 20 in District 4.
All right, Ms. Cook? Or Mr. Brown? Anyone here to represent these people? If not, I don't think we can move forward with this.
And we've made those amendments where the applicant
Applicant does not have to, is that correct?
That went back and forth so long, I forgot, but I'm sure Brett knows.
Me too, okay. All right. Okay, we'll move forward with it. Is there anyone here, we'll open the public hearing. Is anyone here wants to speak in favor of? Hearing none, is there anyone here wants to speak in opposition to? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion to approve the conditions or deny.
One question for Tracy. Can you scroll to the larger parcel? I'm trying to figure out exactly where that 4.15 acres fits, where they're gonna cut it off. Is it? We're probably gonna need to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the point to the far left, I know it's turning sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Where would the 4.15 acres be cut off of that larger parcel?
I think it's down there in that corner.
Where it shows on this map,
It's on the corner.
very tip right, top right-hand corner up there where it comes into.
Yeah.
It's right off Shirley Drive.
So it would be that tip at the far left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Further questions? Well, you don't have my answer, so, except for any questions from Tracy or the attorney. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make
You can go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve because I see that there are already across the street the same AR, and they're bringing another one into compliance, so.
Okay, we have a motion, did I get a second?
I'll second.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All right, Kenneth?
Yes.
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 I cannot tell them that that they need to be at the public hearing, so Ms. Tracy, you may communicate that to them, because, again, we're only a recommending board, and, if the board of commissioners have some questions, they need to be here.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the next one.
Okay. Benjamin and Mandy Allman are requesting to rezone their 6.26 acres from A2 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as accessory dwelling unit for her disabled parents. Property is located at 519 Poker Road in Danielsville on map 37, parcel 118 in District 2.
All right, Almonds, are you here? Please come forward. Tell us what you want us to know.
So, my husband and I have lived at the property now for a little over 10 years. And recently, in about the past 6 months or so, my mother's health has been deteriorating and my father's health is kind of borderline at this point. So we sold their home in Snowville. They had lived out there for about 44 years. And we are wanting to move them up onto our property by building them a small accessory dwelling. So the plan is, and I did bring our plans, is a 40 by 30 shop with an adjoining 40 by 30 ADA compliant living quarters. And my intention is aging in place. So we did consider, I know that there was a hardship option for a temporary dwelling, but I'm praying for years to come with my parents, and with the ADA compliance, my mother is already using a walker. She's dependent upon that, and that is the reason for the secondary structure, is to be able to make it safe for them with no stairs or easements to get in and out of showers or such. But,
Okay.
that's it.
Any questions for Ms. Almond?
So you say you want to build a 2,400 square foot. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. It's the total square footage is 2,400. Half of that is unheated shop space.
Okay, so they're gonna have a shop.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna have extra shop space in there, and then the other half of it will be their living quarters.
So, actually, how much do you think is the living quarters square foot?
It's right at 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, what's the square footage of your home?
I'm probably right over 3,000. Yeah, I think we're probably right at the 3,000, give or take 100 square feet or so.
So the shop just for hobbies?
Yeah, we do have a small hobby farm. That's kind of what we did with the property. We're only 6.26 acres, and we're an A2. If we were an AR, we wouldn't have to go through the process, but yeah, it's just more shop space. I would have my husband and my father, and they can't share a shop. I don't know. Some people may understand that, but they're going to need separate shop space.
I understand.
Any additional questions or comments? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we will open the public hearing. Anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request?
I do.
All right, please come forward, state your name, and tell us what you want us to know.
I'm Morgan Barnett. I work with Restore Pros, and we are a design build company, and so I'm a certified aging in place specialist, so I've been working with the Almonds, and I designed their plan for their ADU unit. Their property is currently zoned A2, and to be A2, they need to be 10 acres or more, and they're only 6.26, so they're currently non-compliant. So we would like to get them into compliance, which is why we're here today. But either way, they would be, I think per code, they're allowed to have the ADU. So I am in full support of having their family be safe.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Just a little word. My name is Victor Boucher, same address. I know Miss Mandy for years, and what she's trying to achieve for her parents is something I wish I could do. But she's in a fortunate position to do that, and I hope you will approve the application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
My name is Sherry Clark, and I have the privilege of going to church with Mandy, and I know her heart is to take care of her mom and daddy, and that's what the Bible tells us to do, and that's what she's trying to do. She just wants to have her parents there where she can take them to the doctor's office, and I know they have fallen, and she just wants to be there to help them, and get through this transition and be neighbors and just make sure they're safe and right there if they were to need her, she's right there versus having to travel to Snellville, right? So she's just trying to honor the Lord and take care of her mommy and daddy. So I hope you will take that consideration and allow her to do so.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, is there anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Please come forward. What's your name and what you want us to know?
Scott Brown is my name. We own the land right next to them, which is right there on the right-hand side. I don't have a problem with somebody with a disabled family or anything like that, disabled parents, but we've been residents of this county for 60 years. And the thing of it is, if it wasn't right in my back door, I wouldn't say nothing. But this thing is right dead in my back door. If you'd like to see some pictures, I'll be glad to show y'all some pictures of where it's going to stay at. And also, the grading has been started. And I mean, do they have a permit yet? I thought you had to have permits and all that stuff before you started any grading.
Well, that's not part of our...
Yes, sir.
We're here to entertain whether it's a correct rezone or not, if we will allow the rezone.
Can I step to show y'all?
Sure.
Okay. Right here's mine. This is my back deck. You can see right there where it is. See right there. Right there's off my back deck. This is here. This is here. This is right there. This is the fence going right on my side of the property.
Okay, I think if you'll just show at least one or two of those, you just pass them around and, they'll be able to see.
You can see this is off my back porch right here.
While he's doing this, Mr. Tracy, all setbacks we met.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
House, and then you kind of see this is, my house is here. It's down on 465 there.
Yeah, that's several times.
Here's some pictures right here.
This yours.
This is where they want to put it. This is my barn right here. My house is set right up here.
So your property will go.
This is my house.
Yeah, I asked her, one of my questions to, Tracy was all the setbacks met.
They can meet all the setbacks.
They can meet all setbacks, okay.
And so the thing of it is that, you know, we got a pool in the backyard. I mean, it's right in it. It's right there in my backyard. If it wasn't in my backyard, I really wouldn't say nothing. They can move it over closer to their house. I ain't got a problem with it. But the problem is, it's right in my back door. That's my problem.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Would you consider it to be tolerable if there was some sort of vegetative area between them?
I can't hear you.
If you put in some vegetation of screening plants,
I mean, they'd have to put in some big leaning cypresses or something, or there's another one they can put up on their side, because we cut hay off our side. And see, all that is farming country right there. There's no small tracks around there.
How much land do you have?
There's 15 on that side, 20 on the other side, 50 across the road.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank
Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Do you want any type of rebuttal? You would.
So the Browns have been our neighbors for the last 10 years, and, you know, we've tried, and I think we've had kind of an on and off again, good relationship, bad relationship. I can see the Browns' back deck from my front porch. I believe my house was probably built prior to theirs being built. And so sitting on my front porch, looking this way, I can see their back porch, and I can see into their pool because there's not a fence or barrier around the pool. And we have discussed putting a privacy fence after the structure is done along that side, just where their pool is and their privacy and their deck, so that as my parents exit their dwelling, they're not looking out there directly. But as far as him being able to see it directly from his back porch, like I said, I can see their back porch from my front porch. And so I don't see how that would be much of an issue. But we're willing to work with vegetation. We're willing to work with ever. It was actually placed in that spot because there is a natural driveway that goes straight down there. And when we had had septic out there, grading did begin prior to. There was a little bit of miscommunication, and Morgan can probably help me with that. We thought we were in compliance to do an ADA, and when we found out we were not, we halted. We stopped. That dirt has been there for several months now. We have not moved an inch. We put everybody on hold. But the septic, because of where our well house is, it requires 100 feet away from that. We were taking that into consideration, and really just kind of taking into consideration our entire front pasture is occupied by goats and sheep, and the rest of the property back there is all woods. And so we did not want to dig too much into the woods because we do have neighbors behind us as well. So that would be, do you have any follow-up questions? Or?
Anyone have any questions, sir? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for any discussion, or I will entertain a motion.
I have a question for our attorney. Because it's residential, we don't really put conditions on. That's something that the neighbors should work out about privacy.
Typically so, right. I mean, I don't know if there are any that apply in this situation, but the zoning ordinance has buffer requirements in certain situations.
Yeah.
So that's, if it applies, it's addressed, it's in there.
Okay.
And that's why I asked, my question was all setback.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay. That's all I want to do. Thank you.
All right, any further?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion for approval and a second. Any discussion?
you. You last on me. That's your guy.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Almond, this has been approved by this board to make a recommendation to the county commissioners that they do approve this. So on December 2nd, I ask that you please show up at the public hearing. And also, Scott, we ask that you show up and tell the commissioners what you've told us. All right, moving on. Next.
Next is John LaFever with Giacomo LLC, applicant for property owner Faye Carter, is requesting to rezone a 2-acre portion of the 32.91 acre property from A1 to R1 to split and sell, and the remaining acreage will stay in the A1 zone. The property is located at 173 Jack Sharp Road in Calvert on map 46, parcel 162 in District 5.
Mr. LaFever?
Mr. Chair, thank you. I'm John LaFever. I'm here with my wife, Suzanne. We're from Woodstock, Georgia. Long drive, by the way. We'll be back hopefully next week. We've purchased a property, this one right here, from, I forgot the name of the lady. Ms. Carter. And Ms. Carter also just portioned this off through the planning, and I believe the commissioners agreed to it. I think it's her nephew or a relation. And there's another house right here is the one we're looking for. It's a double wide. It's been vacant for a long time, kind of an eyesore. We would like to rezone that from A1 to residential with 2 acres off of theirs, and you probably have a picture of the big one. Because you can see how this is kind of right at the end, and it's like a finger, if we can find it. It fits in really well with the one that was just rezoned. Now this is opposite, right? So if you could see I believe, the homesteads, is this way, Tracy? Which way am I going?
Turned around. All right, so here is the homestead right
Okay,
there.
perfect, yeah.
In that yellow.
And then coming along Jack Sharp here, the second one that was rezoned, and we're the third one along Jack Sharp. There is no road here, so it's just that one little sliver. Again, it's a double wide, it's vacant, it's in poor condition, it looks pretty bad. My business is to buy houses and fix them and sell them. We've done 272 of them. We specialize in trailers. A lot of trailers in this area. What we do is we usually put a foundation on them, but that makes the banks easy to get a loan on it for a conventional FHA. They don't like it when it's just hurricane strap. It also looks better when you have the full foundation on it. It's a beautiful home. We'd like to renovate it and sell it to a family.
Any questions for Mr. LaFever?
You just purchased the 2 acres or?
2 acres. The people that are selling me wanted to sell it at 2 acres. I don't.
2 acres.
That's what they want to sell it for, and I don't care if it's 4 or 2, truthfully. We purchased a lot of homes. The 4-acre lots to us doesn't mean anything. It's not road frontage. So we hope that you'd approve the 2-acre. It does seem very similar to the ones that are around it. We have no use for anything more than that.
Yeah, I had a question about the 2 acres other than why they didn't be full, but when I looked at it, there's a lot of R1s in that area. I think that kind of fits in the comp plan.
And I'm happy to give, pictures of things that we've done. Again, we've done close to, it's a family business. Jack and Most of my kids' initials. So we've done quite a few of them. We're the largest We Buy Ugly houses franchise in Atlanta.
So,
Any further? Go ahead.
sorry, I just wanted, so my understanding is there's a trailer that sits on the 2 acres.
Mobile home.
Mobile home.
Correct.
And you want to redo that and sell it?
Correct.
Okay, and that's all the 2 acres. They own the rest of it.
30, yeah, there's another
Yeah.
32 acres or so that
And they own the
they own all.
original owner.
Correct. We bought one property, right next to the homestead, there was a small single wide. We've already purchased that, that was already zoned. And then the second one next to it was again given to or sold to the nephew, I think it's a relation. And that one was, how many acres was that?
4
That was a 4-acre, and we're looking for the corner one.
Yeah, the 2 acres.
Yeah.
All right, any further questions for Mr. LaFever? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll bring it back and I will entertain a motion if there's no further discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Motion second?
Yeah.
Any questions, any discussion? If not, Lee?
I will say, I know I'm notorious for questioning R1s. However, on this one, there is gonna be commercial in the area there. This is on the edge of the whole Culver corridor that has industrial and commercial use. down the, Highway 72 there. And if it doesn't fit in that, it certainly fits within the South Madison County for residential and commercial, so,
On you?
yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right, so that's been approved again on December 2nd.
Yes, sir.
This will go before the Board of Commissioners, and they will have the final say.
Thank you.
Okay?
And last we have Regina Child, and she is requesting to rezone 2 4-acre portions of her 101.43 acre property from A2 to AR to allow 2 splits, one to gift her son and the other to sell. The remaining acreage will stay in the A2 zone to retain, and the property is located at 2156 Rogers Mill Road in Danielsville on map 40, parcel 1 in District 1.
How are you?
Good. I'm Regina Child, 2208 Rogers Mill Road, Danielsville, Georgia. What I want to do, I have a son that lives in South Georgia, and he's wanting to come live on our property. He wants to build. So on the end of the property, I want to cut off 4 acres to give to him to build. And then I have a home that's beside of where I live that's on the 101 acres with my mom. And my mom and dad both have passed away. I can't hold on. I can't afford 2 homes. So I decided I don't want to rent a home. So I want to put 4 acres with it, split it off, and sell it.
All right. Any questions from the board?
Yes, on this site plan, 1 4-acre is, on the back side of, is there any road frontage on that 4 acres?
Yes. It's on Chandler Farm Road.
Chandler Farm Road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would definitely have road frontage to run his driveway.
Any other questions? Not, thank you, ma'am. All right, at this point, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this particular rezone request? Hearing none, anyone want to speak in opposition? Not, we will close the public hearing, bring it back, we'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. All right, this has been approved. Again, as I told the rest of them, on December 2nd. Let's go before the Board of Commission. We will recommend approval, but please be here so you can ask any questions that they may have. All right, that ends our zoning applications for the public hearing, and we have number 2, discussing approving the 2025 proposed meeting dates for the planning and zoning.
Yes, sir, and as you know, we always vote for these meeting dates at our first meeting in December, so I've just presented you guys with the tentative schedule for 2025, so we'll be able to vote on that at our December meeting, regular business meeting. And also leading into that, discuss the appointment of a new chair and vice chair for the commission, and that is usually we can discuss tonight if need be, and then we always vote the first business meeting as well.
Okay, just be prepared to,
Did she give us?
She sent that, meeting on the email.
Oh, that's an email. Oh.
She sent it to us on email.
so take a look at that, and if you have any problems with it, let us know at our December business meeting.
And these dates align with Board of Commissioners and with our holiday schedule as
So
well.
our first meeting December third?
Yes, ma'am, I believe that's the day.
Well, this is for 2025.
Yeah,
now.
no, I mean, but this December, we have.
December 2nd. Ours is December 3rd.
Yeah.
Right. And be prepared to, appoint, or vote in, or whoever, for chair and vice chair at that time. And also, I think in December, well, you have 2 more meetings, right, Stephanie? We've been talking to our District 3 commissioner, but they haven't moved yet, so we may be somewhat short-handed to begin with, 2025. All right, is there anything else that needs to come before the board tonight? I got a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Moving probably second that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. You guys have a great evening.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.